evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Today we're going to be doing the Shaddoll deck profile, Shaddoll hero, Shaddoll Dolly hero, whatever you guys want to call it. The reason why I haven't been able to do the deck profile, I'm looking for another apartment, getting a car, a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it was the Super Bowl, I guess right now, a couple hours ago today, but you guys will obviously get the profile later. But let's get down to the deck profile. I think that's the more important thing. 2 copies of Shaddoll Beast, 2 copies of Elemental Hero Neil's Alias, 2 copies of Shaddoll Dragon, 2 copies of Shaddoll Squamata, 2 copies of Armageddon Knight, 2 copies of Elemental Hero 420 Yellow Swag, Snoop Dogg, Blaze It, Smoke It All, 3 copies of Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, 1 copy of Elemental Hero Bubbleman, 3 copies of Shaddoll Hedgehog, and 1 copy of Shaddoll Falco. That's going to sum up about the monsters. You guys don't see Denkaseka in here. Because first of all, I couldn't really fit the room. Second of all, I really need that normal summon to go off. More often than not, you're going to normal summon Elemental Hero 420 Blaze It Man, Armageddon Knight, sometimes Shadow Mist. You really need your normal summon to go off in this deck, and we don't really need that many light targets. Elemental Hero Neil's Alias really does the job, and I mean extremely well. Consequently, you could drop a Shaddoll Construct for any Exceed or Synchro or whatever you guys don't see in here. I know I'm not playing any Synchros for Shaddoll Falco, but hey, I'm really tight on the extra deck room, and I figured that, hey, it's only 1 Falco. At the time that I do need to Synchro, I probably would lose anyways. I mean, I really can't fit that much into 15 cards. Let's get on to the spells. 1 copy of Polymerization, 2 copy of Reinforcement of the Army, 2 copy of Shaddoll Fusion, 3 copies of Miracle Fusion. I actually would strongly suggest that you guys drop this card. You can run Reinforcement of the Army, for more consistency. Let me type in Army. You can run that. You can run freaking another Mass Change second if you guys need it. I really want to say that is an empty slot, and I try to leave that for every deck, so you players can have a little more wiggle room. I have actually a couple empty slots in here that you guys could substitute. For right now, I'm just going to put it as 3 copies of Reinforcement of the Army. So 2 copies of Miracle Fusion, 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 copies of El Shaddoll Fusion, and 2 copies of Mass Change. Now, back to the big reason why I run only 2 copies of Miracle Fusion is because we don't have that many hero targets, first and foremost, and secondly, it is probably one of the worst cards to open up with no hero targets because it's completely useless. 2 copies of Miracle Fusion is like perfect. It is the perfect way to do it. It's really good, especially when you're OTKing your opponent. More often than not, if you can Shaddoll Fusion, gain advantage through the Shaddoll Fusion, then Miracle Fusion, and still be able to abuse that advantage, and then Mass Change second or El Shaddoll Fusion, during battle phase, more often than not, that's going to win you the game just right there. So having so many copies of the Fusion cards in your main board really gives you access to a lot of wacky combos. Polymerization is just godly in here. I never thought that a competitive deck or a could-be competitive deck would be able to effectively run Polymerization, and here we are right now playing Dolly Hero with a competitive deck that could run Polymerization. For traps, we're going to be running 2 copies of Sinister Shadow Games, 1 copy of Shaddoll Core, and 2 Call It Hunted. Now, these 3 cards are actually pretty optional. Sinister Shadow Games, to be honest with you guys, you really don't get off too much. You want to send the Hedgehog to the graveyard. Hedgehog gets you any of your Shaddoll monsters, and that's why I actually run a boosted copy of Shaddoll Hedgehog, is because you really want Shaddoll monsters to your hand so you can fuse with your other fusion cards, and then also you can also set it and search out any of your Shaddoll Fusion spell cards, which are going to be pretty important, especially since I'm running a lower dosage of them in your normal Shaddoll deck. The Shaddoll Core is just another one of those optional cards. It actually comes out in handy when you're playing it with the Elemental Hero aspect. Let's say you're gonna Polymerization and you're gonna use Shaddoll Core as a material. Well, guess what? Shaddoll Core can be any of your fusion cards. So yeah. Oh, never mind. Actually, I take that back. It's only for a Shaddoll Fusion, so never mind. Unless you're making a Shaddoll card, you could probably completely drop Shaddoll Core for, a 3rd Call It Hunted. The 2 Call It Hunted is actually just like the 2 Armageddon Knight that I was running. Somebody actually suggested it on YouTube, so shout out to you. I can't necessarily remember your name right now, but shout out to you. The 2 Armageddon Knight and the 2 Call It Hunted have been working pretty well. I don't think I would play 3 and 3, mainly because you do run at least 2 Reinforcement of the Army, a 3rd Reinforcement of the Army to search it, and the Call It Hunted isn't like so amazing with every single card. It's pretty good with Shadow Mist, and it's pretty good with him. It's pretty good, with just little remedial plays. As for the extra deck, 3 Construct, another card that you guys can have room with. You can drop the Construct for almost any of your Elemental Hero monsters. And you know what? I actually strongly suggest, I would almost make it mandatory that you drop it for Elemental Hero Jose, because Jose is just amazing. I'm telling you, actually, we're going to just say Construct was never here. We're going to drop him for Elemental Hero Jose. So 2 Construct, 1 Nova Master, 1 Shining. I actually summoned him quite a few times, even though only run 2 targets. But I summoned him quite a few times, and he's a really good game breaker. 1 Acid, you actually do summon him as well as Absolute Zero. 1 Koga, so you can, just be that guy. Grista, 2 Darklaw, 2 Wunda, 1 Jose, and 2 Castell. That's pretty much going to sum up the extra deck. I mean, it's pretty obvious why Castell is in here. It is the best love rank 4 XE, gets rid of your opponent's threat. And I run quite the few ways to put level 4 monsters in the graveyard to XE summon with. Other than that, we're just going to go Yellow Swag Fusion and just put it on them. Obviously, you want to put down the Darklaw, and if you can put down Wunda Darklaw, then your opponent is in some pretty bad trouble. You don't want to be in like that. But ultimately, this is my Dolly Hero, Shaddoll Hero deck profile. I really hope you guys have loved it. If you guys have any suggestions, I mean, go ahead, put it in the deck. I mean, it's the deck is for you guys, not me. But thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. But most of all, enjoy.